What's this podcast about?
What are we doing? Hello, and welcome to Cottage Meeple, where we take you to the cottage every week to talk about our favorite board games. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kevin.
Cottage Meeple is going to be a whole bunch of friends that get together to bring you board game content every single week. So today, we are going to discuss our top 10 favorite games. We don't know each other's lists.
We don't. We're hiding them from each other.
We're hiding them from each other. Kevin, do you want to go first with an honorable mention?
My list, probably going to look a little bit different than my wife's. Mine is going to be probably leaning towards some of the more simple games.
Lighter games.
Into games. Games that you could play with a 5-year-old. Mostly that type of style. So, my honorable mention is more of a... We have a couple of games like this, and I decided to list both of them because my honorable mention is more of a style of board game than it is a board game itself.
Okay.
So my honorable mentions are Nikojima and Rhino Hero, just kind of those dexterity-based table games that are fun to play with friends or at a party. Like I said, also fun to play with a 5-year-old, and just super simple, super straightforward, and lots of fun.
Just plain fun.
Just plain fun.
Those are not on my list.
Didn't think they would be.
Because as Kevin said, I do lean to the more heavier strategy. Not all of the games on my list are heavy or strategy, but that's where I lean. But they're both fantastic. Rhino Hero is designed as a game for children.
That's why I love it.
But I have so much fun playing it.
It's my speed.
Yeah. And Nekojima is a newer dexterity game, and it's amazing. We played it at PAX last year, or I played it at PAX last year, and we immediately pre-ordered it. We just got it in the last month or two, and it's fantastic. You have these telephone lines that can't touch, and you get to hang cats on them, and it's just a blast. My honorable mention is a game I think I'm really gonna like.
You think you're really gonna like?
But we've only played it once, and I feel like we haven't really gotten into it.
Oh boy.
Hegemony. So this is a class warfare game. We've only ever played it at 2 players. I think it would be fantastic at 4 players. It's very meaty, very strategical. We've only played it once, but I feel like with more plays, with a higher player count, I can really get into it. Okay, so on to the list. What's your number 10?
So, my number 10 is, I think, a game that we have also only played once.
Okay.
Maybe twice. I also have a terrible memory.
It's true.
And it's Brass Birmingham. Now, this is a game that I did not expect to like as much as I did. And to be honest, I don't remember very much about the game. Just remember enjoying playing the game, which is saying a lot for me. Again, a little bit more of a complicated game for me, but I believe it's about the Industrial Revolution and kind of making tracks and making paths for trade and settling different areas in Victorian England. So it, like I said, a little bit more complicated than I'm used to, but my wife and I sat down and played this game, and I think we both genuinely enjoyed it, which again, doesn't always happen. But yeah, that's my number 10.
I will talk about that later.
Oh.
Maybe. We'll see. My number 10 is probably the lightest game on this list.
Oh, that's the my list is going to go the other way.
Yeah. And this game is cute. I like cute games. And it's just fun. I've taught it to quite a few people. I've played it many times. And it's called Fort. It is about kids on the playground building forts and eating pizza.
It's true.
And playing with toys. And it's very cute. You have to play with your friends, or your friends can disappear to go to other people's playgrounds.
It's a deck builder, right?
It's a deck building game, yeah.
See, I know things.
And we have the expansion, so you get to play with cats and dogs. And it's just plain fun. It's fun. It's cute. It's my kind of game. And it's easy to table, easy to play. And that's all I'll say about that.
Coming in at number 9 is a game that is based on a very popular movie franchise that Jordan and I have liked watching. It is Dune. Once again, a game that's a little bit more complicated to table, a little bit more on a larger scale. But I think for me, the big thing that sells it is the connection to one of my favorite hobbies, which is one of watching movies. So connecting it to the franchise, connecting it to happy memories and going to watch movies in the theaters. I think
We love Dune.
That kind of does help my opinion of it, even though again it's a little bit more complicated than I would generally like to play, and probably not the best weeknight game for me. But once again, a game I have enjoyed, the game we've probably tabled quite a few times at this point. We played it with some friends as well, not just by ourselves. But yeah.
Better with friends.
Yes, much better with friends.
We don't do well with automas, because we forget. We forget to run them. So I would say more than 2 players is better. Little surprised it's on your list though.
Well,
you surprised me. Okay, my number 9 is another cute game. Not all my games are cute games, but my number 9 is definitely a cute game. I have upgraded components for this game that makes it even cuter, and it's Honey Buzz.
I knew that was what it was.
Yeah, so Honey Buzz is you have these worker bees, and they're making honey and making a business out of it, so the bears stop attacking them, and instead they can just buy your honey instead of eating your honey and stealing. And it's very cute. They just released an expansion, Fall Flavors, which we're probably gonna buy.
What?
It's already on the list. Yeah, so that's Honey Buzz, number 8. Number 9.
I haven't made its number 8 yet.
Okay, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is a game that I enjoy, again, because of thematic purposes. But for this game, the nice thing is you can change up the theme, you can change up the genre, you can change up who you're playing with, playing for, whether it's competitive, cooperative, and that is Unmatched.
Yes.
So Unmatched is a game that Jordan and I think started with, was it Sherlock Holmes and Watson?
Cobble and Fog.
Cobble and Fog. So we started with that one, and since then we've kind of built it out based on some of our interests. So we've gotten
the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. We've gotten the Jurassic Park packs. We've just gotten dinosaurs.
Okay,
we like dinosaurs.
We do like dinosaurs. We've talked about getting the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pack, but we're still discussing that one. But yes, my number 8 is Unmatched.
Awesome. That's a good head-to-head dueling game. Okay, so my number 8, we are sticking with the bee theme. And that is Bees in Space, Apiary.
Bees in Space.
Bees in Space. Space bees. I love Apiary. I think some people were hit and miss with this game. Stonemeyer game. Great game. Love the Bees in Space. One of those games that I played it for the first time and immediately was like, yes, this is a Jordan kind of game.
No surprise, worker placement.
Yeah, worker placement.
Worker placement.
I love it. That's my number 8.
Well, moving on up the list, my number 7 is, again, a game that you can theme based on your interest. It is Battle Yahtzee Dice Throw. So we have collected quite a few of the Marvel characters that you can play with Dice Throw. We've collected the Santa Claus character because my wife is obsessed with Christmas.
All things Christmas all the time.
Battle Yahtzee Dice Throw, that is my number 7.
Another head-to-head dueling game.
My wife and I like fighting each other.
Yeah, we do. So my number 7 used to be my number 1.
Whoa.
And now it's number 7. You know what it is?
I do.
It's Ark Nova.
That's not what I thought.
Oh. Ark Nova. Which is...
so big.
It's a big game.
It's
a big boy.
Geographically big. You need a very large setup to pull it out, which is probably one of the reasons we don't table it super often. I wouldn't say an overly complex game.
I would say the strategy is complex. The gameplay is not complex.
Well, that's why I don't often.
Yeah. And it's about building a zoo, which is a good theme for me. But it's about the conservation part of the zoo, which is very exciting. And it's great. It's fun to play. I once bought all my friends' copies for $10 because there was a game store near us, a calendar store, that was selling it for $10, like the year it came out. And I bought like 4 or 5 to give to people. We have the expansion. It's great.
My number 6. I'm starting to notice a pattern. Again, another game that has several themes that you can build upon, and I'm starting to learn that the theme really helps with your husband over here, and that is Splendor. So we specifically have the Marvel version of Splendor. So this is a game where you're kind of building up your superhero team and using it to kind of, collect, battle, resource gathering.
That's resource, like you're collecting.
And you're trying to complete certain objectives.
Engine building,
in
I
order
would say.
to win the game. So again, yes, we are big Marvel fans in this house. So Marvel Splendor is a game that surprisingly I have been trying to table for a little while now, but my wife keeps shooting me down.
Yeah, it's something I'm over it.
Okay, well, too bad. So
but
sad.
I will
That's
say,
my number 6.
If you're looking for Splendor and you like Marvel, just go for Marvel Splendor. It's good. I like it better than base game Splendor if you like the Marvel theme. Kevin is drinking Beetlejuice Fanta, and it's gross.
It's not gross.
It smells like soap.
It tastes like if you took apple cider and turned it into a soda.
No, it smells like caramel. Like
caramel
apple pop. My number 6 is a game we've also only tabled once because it's very hard to table, but it was very fun, and another one that we played it and I immediately wanted to play it again, and that is Vast Crystal Caverns.
We only played that once?
We've only played it once, but it's so good. It's asymmetric factions. You get to play as different characters that are all battling each other. You each have your own different objective going through. The cave's trying to kill you. The cave's being played by another player. And it's one of those just pure fun. You get to pick on everyone else at the table as long as you guys have a good relationship to do that with. Highly suggest if you can get your hands on a copy. There's a newer one that's easier to get your hands on, but I've never played it. I've only ever played Vast Crystal Caverns, and it's great.
So, moving right along, up to number 5 is a game that I think is potentially a game that we have played more than any other game that we own. It is a game that I think I have probably beaten my wife at more than any other game that we own, and that could be part of the reason why I enjoy it. Could be because it is nice, it is small, it is easy to put on the couch and just play
it's a couch
easy.
game.
It is Fantasy Realms.
Yeah.
So this is a game where you are trying to collect the best combination of cards that you can from a shared deck. You're trying to build different combinations of fantasy creatures like dwarves, elves, kings, queens, trees, daggers, all that fun kind of stuff. One of the best parts about this game is that rather than having to score it manually, there is a website that you can use that you just input your cards and it tells you who wins. And like I said, I think I beat my wife more times than I have lost my wife during this game. So that definitely helps me because winning a game is not something that I experience very often.
It's one of our only sleeved games. Fantasy Realms is a great game. It's quick. It's one of the only games that has a 2-player variant. Like it's 3+, but it has a 2-player variant that I actually think is better than the original game. Normally, if a card game has like a 2-player variant, I don't buy it because it's terrible. This one, I actually prefer playing at 2 better than any other player count. It's fun, it's quick, it's easy. So my number 5 is probably the only solo game on either one of our top 5s or our top 10s, but it's probably the only solo game.
I most certainly do not have a solo game in my top 10.
Yeah. And that is Final Girl. As of right now, I own all of the feature films. I have the play mats. I need the box of props to have the extra fancy tokens and things.
Yeah.
I have all the current feature films until the new Kickstarter comes out, and then I have to collect those 5. It's just a solo game. There's a lot of luck involved, and that's fine with me. You are the final girl trying to defeat the killer, and you're trying to save the victims, and it's just fun to sit down and play your own game just by yourself. It's one of the only solo games I really play often. Number 4.
Number 4, we're on to the runners up. So this is a game that we haven't played in a while. And for being totally honest, I think it scared us away a little bit a couple of years ago just because of the game itself. And that is Pandemic.
That surprises me.
So while this is more of a game, again, probably haven't tabled it in 2 or 3 years, But
probably more than that.
Historically, I remember enjoying playing this game quite a bit. And it is a cooperative game, which is a theme that I enjoy because it's harder for me to lose at cooperative games. And this is probably one of the first, I would say, hobby board games that we kind of got into.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's just fun. You're trying to stop the spread of diseases from taking over the world. You're working together as a team and you each have different special skill sets that kind of help each other out. And yeah, again, did not play this as much during COVID or if at all because it was hit a little bit too close to home. But as I said, historically, I remember really, really enjoying this game and I have a lot of fun memories playing this game with my wife.
One thing about Kevin and I is I lean towards competitive games and he definitely leans towards cooperative games.
I think the main reasoning behind that is my wife usually wins. However, doesn't care if she wins. And I usually lose, and maybe sometimes care too much if I lose. So, a cooperative game, definitely a bigger seller for me, because that means if we lose together.
Speaking of cooperative games, my number 4 is a game we played last night. And that is Too Many Bones. We had our friend come over last night, and it was nice. We all know the rules. We played a 3-player game. I was Gilly. You were Boomer.
Yes, I was.
And
I was a Boomer.
It was fun. We lost, which is generally the case in Too Many Bones. But it's a cooperative dungeon crawling type game. And it's nice. It tells a story as you play. You build up your character. You try to defeat the big bad guy. And just good fun.
It's a very nice turn for George and I got into Dungeons and Dragons for a little bit during the pandemic. And this is kind of a nice board game driven Dungeons and Dragons themed. Dragons. I'm moving right up the list to the bronze medal.
Bronze medal games.
So, this is a game that we got recently. It's a game we played recently. Played it with some friends. Kind of a nice, easier, straightforward.
Okay. I know where you're going.
Kind of like a, what do you call it? Not a gotcha type of game, but Take That.
Take That?
I think that's what they call it.
Maybe, yeah.
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road Vendetta.
Thunder Road Vendetta. So this is a game where you are kind of Mad Max style driving across the wilderness and beating up your friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes those friends can get bumped off the board and sometimes those friends can blow up. So it's super fun, super straightforward, fun to play as a group.
It's just plain fun.
Yeah,
it's just plain fun. It's a good game night opener, game night closer, or if you don't want to think that night, Thunder Road Vendetta. Not a ton of strategy, probably a little bit of strategy, but it's just plain fun. My bronze medal goes to Brass. Brass Birmingham is, Kevin talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to talk about the game, but it's just fantastic. It's just fun. You know, when you play a game and you play it and you immediately go, this game is amazing. That is what I had with Brass.
It's one of the only times that I have had that happen.
Yeah, well, it's the number 1 game of all time right now. At least I think. Yeah. Lots of strategy. We've only ever played it at 2. A lot of people say it's not great at 2, but we had a great time.
I was going to say, if it's not great at 2.
So I'd love to see it at a higher player count because I loved it. Okay.
All right.
Number 2.
Number 2. This is a game that, again, another Take That game. Very simple, very straightforward. We've played it with lots and lots of groups before, and it's a lot of fun. It's called Cover Your Assets.
That's a great game.
This is another, like I said, this is a game that's great to play with a big group. Great to play with a group of married people because you get to take stabs at your partners and their friends. So really good to either make situations worse or diffuse some of the tension. But yeah, this is a game we've played at the cottage many, many times. This is a game that we've played with lots of different people. And yeah, like it's just super straightforward. You're just trying to collect the most money as possible. You're trying to steal from different people. Yeah, super, super easy, super fun, super straightforward.
We've also owned Cover Your Kingdom, which we played with our kids. And they love it. It's a great game. It's a great game to play with non-gamers.
Mhm.
It's a great game. One of those games I got I think for Christmas, and it took me almost a year to actually play it. And when I played it, I was like, why did this sit on my shelf for so long? Because
True.
it's so good. My number 2 is Dwellings of Eldervale, which is, I think, currently, as of right now, the biggest game we own, size, box-wise.
Yes.
That's probably going to be changing soon. But it's also fun. Lots of worker placement.
I feel like with Dwellings of Eldervale, what you get in the base box, which is I'm hoping what we have.
That is what we have.
It's really nice.
And
like the quality's super, super nice.
I often tell people like it has game trays included, and I tell people if it did not have those game trays, it would be so much harder to table and organize. But it has them, and it's fantastic. And
the
you get
artwork is beautiful.
Yes, and you get to put these little houses on your meeples, and you turn your meeples into houses, and it's very cute. So that is my number 2 game of all time, Dwellings of Eldervale.
Do you want to guess what
I know what your number 1 is.
How do you know? Did you look?
I didn't look, but you haven't said it.
What's my number 1 game?
Villainous.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, Disney.
Disney Villainous specifically. We tried branching out to Star Wars. Not a huge fan. Didn't hate it, but just didn't love it as much as the Disney version.
Yeah,
There's
I thought I
Marvel
would.
version too, isn't there?
I have heard the Marvel version is not the best, but
Okay.
yes, we have
Maybe
not
we gotta
played
try
it.
that at some point, just to see for ourselves. But yes, Disney's Villainous. We currently own all of the
Every
characters
single
possible. It's definitely one of those games, one of the first games that we played kind of in the hobby format. Funnily enough, we played this game once upon a time.
No, we watched it.
No, didn't you play?
I didn't play it, I watched it.
We watched people play this game once upon a time. Thought it was the stupidest thing in the world.
Because everyone was playing it wrong, and no one understood the instructions.
And probably about a year later, we tried it again. We must have got it.
We got it.
We tried it again, and we loved it. Again, there's a great kind of take that component where you get to fate people. You're trying to work towards your particular objective. The only thing that I think I might enjoy for some of the characters, and this would make absolutely no sense based on what the game is, but sometimes I'd rather play as the hero than the villain. But
the game is called Villainous.
The game is called Villainous, so you don't really have a choice. But yes, that is my number 1 game. It is probably another one of those games that we've tabled more than almost any other game that we have.
I would agree.
It is just beautiful. It is Disney.
We love Disney. We're wearing Disney.
Yes.
We match accidentally today.
It is everything that we enjoy. It is, it's just great.
Also, we basically always play this game at 2. We have occasionally played it at 3 or 4, and it's fine. But we often play it 2.
Because the 3 wouldn't make it as much. Take that.
Yeah, but I would say there's some characters that don't work very well at 2. So we just kind of avoid those.
True.
Okay, my number 1 game of all time
We don't actually own it yet.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's the only game on these lists that we don't own. But
true.
I've played it multiple times this year at a friend's house. I have the second version coming this month, probably, and that is Nemesis. Nemesis is a semi-cooperative game, very thematic.
Only, funnily enough, watched the movie for the first time.
After playing the game.
After playing the game.
But you are trying to escape the spaceship, trying to not die by the aliens, trying to sneak around, trying to make sure all the engines are working. It's very thematic. It's very fun. I love when games tell a story, and at the end, you get to laugh about the story you created sitting around the table with your friends. I almost kicked you off the spaceship, or it's just fun. It's just fun, especially if you have the right group of people playing it. I do have Nemesis Lockdown and a stuffed cat coming this month, and I'm very excited.
Stuffed cat?
A stuffed cat. But I'm very excited about it. Okay, so this is our very first episode of Cottage Meeple. Like we said before, expect to see a variety of people, a variety of different views. I will probably be here most of the time. We're excited to start this journey with you, and we hope you come to the cottage with us.
Have a wonderful
Bye, guys.
relationship.
Well, if you don't know someone very well, you don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to kill you.